So we work with a lot of organizations, large and small, sometimes startups, sometimes great big companies. And we've been
Mhm.
talking a lot about distraction at a human individual level. Do you think distraction happens at an organizational level? And how do we build an indistractable team or an indistractable purpose or an indistractable
Yeah.
organization is one of the questions that we'd like to ask.
Absolutely. It's a terrific question. So, half of the book is about what you can do as an individual. The other half of the book relates to the fact that, look, we can't be so naive to say it's all up to the individual. It's not. There are external factors that go into someone's life. So, one of the big sections in the book is about the workplace. And what I learned in my 5 years of research around this topic is that distraction in the workplace is a symptom of cultural dysfunction. Distraction is a symptom of dysfunction. That if you work in a place where you can't raise your hand and say, hey, I can't do my best work if I'm constantly interrupted. If you're afraid to say that, you lack what's called psychological safety. And there's a lot of research around this topic. If you can't talk about the problem, that is the problem. It's not the technology. It's the fact that you can't talk about this because you're afraid of getting fired. You're afraid of retribution if you bring it up. People are going to think I'm not a team player. People are going to think I'm lazy. That's the problem. That's the problem, that we can't talk about it. And so what I do in the book is I profile companies that are indistractable. And it's amazing. There are 3 tenets of companies that do become indistractable. And what really shocked me is that I was looking for companies that exemplify this. And one of the companies that came up was, funny enough, a company that people blame for distracting them. So we did this survey around the most distracting technologies in the workplace. Number one most distracting technology, see if you can guess. I'm sure you can. Email. Email was the number one most distracting technology. Number 2 was group messaging. Okay. And the number one group messaging service is Slack. And so I wanted to pay Slack a visit. I wanted to go over there and see, this company that makes this technology that everybody complains distracts them all day long. And I wanted to pay them a visit. And what I found shocked me. That Slack, the company that should be very distracted, right? If the technology is the problem, then they should be more distracted than anybody because they use it more than anybody. But that's not what I found. That in fact, Slack doesn't struggle with distraction. If you use Slack on nights and weekends, if you work at Slack, you are reprimanded. You are told that is not what we do here because it's part of the company culture to give people time to think. They realize that to do their best work, they need time away from their screens. And so the 3 tenets, there's a few companies that I profile in the book, including Slack. There are 3 attributes of an indistractable workplace. Number 1 is that employees have psychological safety to talk about this problem, right? They can voice their concerns about this issue. That's number 1. Number 2, they have a forum to talk about these problems. At Slack, it's interesting. They actually have Slack channels where people can chime in. There is a channel called beef tweets, like things that you don't like about the company. You can voice these concerns. And get this, management will use emoji to signify that they're taking action or that they've seen those comments. They'll have an eye emoji or a check mark emoji if they've seen those comments. So upper management reads these gripes with the company. They don't always, take every piece of suggestion as an immediate action item. Sometimes they disagree, but employees feel heard. They feel seen. That's super important. And number 3, and perhaps most importantly, is that an indistractable company has leadership that exemplifies what it means to be indistractable, because culture flows downhill. It's like water. Culture flows downhill. And so people look to their boss to see how distracted they are. Do they use their devices in the middle of meetings? Are they responding to emails and text messages? Are they sending text messages all day, all night? And they fall to the level of performance of their superiors because that's what the boss expects. So the kind of indistractable workplace that gets the best out of people is the kind where management exemplifies what it means to be indistractable in the first place. It's amazing. If you go to Slack company headquarters, this shocked me. In the company canteen, you will see a big pink neon sign that reads, "Work hard and go home." Work hard and go home. It's the company. It's right there. You can't miss it.
Brilliant.
Because everybody in the company, from the CEO on down, believes that it's important to give people time to think, to do their best work. They have to do it without distraction, without interruption.
And how do they do that in a world of work from home?
Well, so the good thing is they can use their technology to solve the distraction caused by technology. So in the book, I teach you how to do what's called hack back the external triggers. That we know that if we allow these technologies to run amok, we know what they want. Right? They want to hack our attention. That's how many of these companies make money, right? If we're talking about media companies, they're not there to inform us. They're there for us, whether it's the New York Times or CNN or any media company, they are there to hack your attention. They sell your eyeballs to advertisers. Certainly, social media does this. We know that, but all form of media does this. And of course, we can be taken in by other forms of media, whether it's email or phone calls or text messages. So we have to hack back. And the way we hack back is to make sure we remove these external triggers that don't serve us. So, for example, with group messaging, there's a few rules. For example, one of the quotes that I got researching the book was from Jason Fried, who actually runs a group chat app similar to Slack called Basecamp, and he said that group chat is like a hot tub. Okay. You don't sit in the hot tub all day. You go in the hot tub and you get out of the hot tub. If you sit in the hot tub, you get pruny and gross. And that's what happens to our focus when we sit in group chat all day. So don't make that mistake. Don't leave it open all day. Get in and get out at certain times of the day according to your schedule so that you can be productive as opposed to leaving it open. And of course, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more we can do as well.